Congratulations over to Weibo. Oh, sorry, oh god, not to Weibo.
Commiserations.
Oh god. And we will get ourselves immediately into the second series of the day. So, as we come into our second series of the day, of course, the first series, very dramatic. Weibo fall in their first series of the day to LGD. And we have ourselves now series between Team WE in the home arena, of course, and Xi'an versus TT. We're pretty far into the mid game. We've missed the early game. Looks like it's been quiet-ish. Only 4 kills onto the board for TT. No, it's not been quiet. Feels like actually TT have a lot of advantages here in the early game.
Yeah, and it's a couple thousand gold, and importantly, the Jace has been kind of put behind 0-2-0 for Wayward. Yucal about to claim a turret down towards the spot side. Thundertalk Gaming without a turret right now. WE with 6 grubs and a Jace. At some point, that'll become threatening again, but of course, Jace having lost the early game and actually gone towards a Ghost Blade rather than something like the Opportunity, which has been the build of choice. There's a lot about how this game has been going.
I think it's just for the safety of saying, look, I got to get the hell out of here. I can't keep distance against Hoya on the Xante. Worth noting, Wayward, the tagline that the LPL broadcast and myself and Munchables in particular have been keeping up for this team has been, Wayward is the gatekeeper top lane. This guy has been the player who does very well against struggling top lanes, but struggles against elite ones. He's kind of been a good benchmark to see, you know, players like Xiao Shu. He's been performing he performed very well against Wayward in this series. And it's worth also noting, WE, we thought this team could be top 4. They had the schedule to look for it, especially after the early split. Prince was subbed in back over Stay. I think Prince has struggled. I think that Stay was performing much better on the roster. And especially after WE lost to Rare Atom, it felt like WE have started to really fall apart. Got to fight on the bot side.
It's going to be a Herald engage onto the other side to get onto some backer and damage as Yucal knocked around. 1xN though beginning to fire at the back end of this alongside the Smolder ultimate. Brings Wayward down to about 10% HP. And Thundertalk Gaming get away from danger. That got dicey for both teams.
It did for just 1 second. The Herald slammed a little too far away to deliver, hung in for a big burst combo. But still, slow things down. And again, reminder, we ended up missing the draft in the early game, so that'll be why it's missing from the VOD if you guys are watching a little bit later on as well. Such is the nature of playing across multiple venues. The first series of the day was in Shanghai. A couple of our teams, like WE, have their own home arenas as well. TT, 5-8. There is a chance now, with Weibo losing a series earlier today, that they could make themselves into playoffs too. What a series that would be. What could they do with this one? As it stands in this, Chocho, great frontlining as this Alistair. Gets straight in front of this Jason, says, nope, no shot blast beyond this point. You're not allowed to bouncer for this team fight. And the front line for TT, very, very strong in this game.
Oh yeah, and the fact is, if that front line can buy enough time for Viego to get a reset with Talia and Smolder to help execute people, the ability to run people down from a long, long way away gets quite scary to manage. Prince will claim a turret on the bot side, but Yucal looking to trade it on the other side and should have no real problem doing so. You can see in the jungle, Beishwan and Chocho are around, so Wayward rightfully a little bit nervous to walk up towards this lane.
So, a couple of other things about this team composition as well. So we are getting another Kai'Sa. It's going to be another Shiv Rageblade into Nash's Kai'Sa. It's not going to be the full poke. You do have very long range composition. You are, however, against that Smolder. It does scale up. Has felt like, though, in the LPL, Smolder has been answered finally really by Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa has ended up being a big kind of threat with that. And also worth noting, of course, he got Fofo on the way, one of his most powerful champions. He's really managed to incorporate that into his champion pool. Fofo was a player that, I think, in previous years, felt like he was a bit of kind of like a two-trick. Jace Azir, LeBlanc when he was in meta. He struggled to have himself really big games on different champions. Having the way as a powerful champion right now in the meta really, really helps with that. TT ahead in the early game though with the Smolder. They'll very much be happy with that one though. It feels like with Alistair, with Xante, they can block out a lot of the poke, and the Smolder they can really start going forward with a lot of their damage too. And Yucal, one of the greatest Talia players of all time, 1-0-3 on his pick.
Yep, that's part of it, and away we go to an early game that has kind of now transitioned over towards that mid stage. Plates falling about 5 minutes ago. And, 2 items largely complete, and the fact that Yucal, with a lot of this early kill investment and a lot of the early CS lead, 20 CS ahead of schedule, feeling pretty good about that death cap on the horizon.
Yeah, I think sitting on the Haunting guys in this game makes a lot of sense. You don't have to go through a lot of HP stackers. If you hit the backline, they will explode if you have a death cap, though, which very much helps with them. Hoya picks up the Jack Show. It's going to be really nasty to get through him in terms of these team fights as well. WE clearing out some topside vision. have good vision in general, actually. And when you have vision control with a Jace that's about to hit towards Miramana, in fact, does it just as I say it, WE hopefully can get a pocket of vision, start landing some crucial skill shots, and then use a HP advantage to go towards objective fights like this Baron.
Wayward now, having completed that second item, got the Muramana transformation, feeling a little bit more valuable again, was kind of a bit anemic before this point, as Fofo was just catapulted into the enemy red buff there by Wayward. That was nearly very dangerous.
That's, you know, fun. I like to call that fun and interactive gameplay. That can really help. So we see Prince starting to fire through these Ws, not the W upgrade just yet.
So obviously, like, League is quite careful about allowing champions' ability to mess with your own teammates. Bard, perhaps.
The one champion I truly hate in League of Legends, the one which I never bought Bard. It was a whole point that I said Bard was the one champion I'd never own. Someone gifted it to me and I couldn't refund it.
That's horrific.
So I couldn't do anything about that.
I'm so sorry.
I know, it was a traumatic day for me. But yeah, Tom Kench's another one.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but of course, one of the big ones for me is the stories of Swain's development. I'm kind of just keeping our eyes here. I think it is just vision control contested. I don't think we're seeing a fight quite yet. But one of the big things with Swain's development was originally when your teammates died, it would empower Swain.
Oh.
So everyone was like, "Go die for Noxus." Was like,
so
it was like encouraging people to run it down for as cool as it was. So they took that away from it. But one of my favorite dev phrases and kind of like one of those dev stories is just these playtesters laughing maniacally and saying, "Go die for Noxus." It's just excellent. It does make me smile a bit. But of course, not really a possibility right now. The only ways you get to mess with people are things like blast cones on a regular basis, which is where this little tangent all came from. And Thunder Talk and WE finished their contesting around vision control, and it seems to be TT that sweep out most of the wards. There's no real wards available. Both teams came across and got rid of all of them.
UCal picks up Death Cap. Important moment in this game. Of course, he has those pen boots as well. He's not even going towards, you know, doesn't feel like he needs any defensive boots or cooldown ones. A lot of the time, Majors are kind of skipping a lot of the pan boots now. I mean, when you look at the strength of stuff like the Ionian boots, the Lucidity can be very powerful there. WE here, however, still controlling topside vision. Now they're finally starting Baron. TT, they don't know what's going on until they put down that blue trinket. Can they contest those? It's going down quick.
It's going down very fast. Of course, this is a 2-item Kai, so it's going to be very, very low indeed. H1 is going to be finally here. Can look over the wall and gets in, but not enough to steal it. Now, what about the fight afterwards? Has to be more of the question. Already they've lost the jungler. Have WE hung down for the count. Fofo and Wayward now trying to run away on the other side. Wayward gets the speed up. Good buffer there from Hoya. But I think WE have just gotten away with the heist. Everyone out for now.
Well, not everyone. They have 4 people, so that's still going to be a victory for them. It's still 4 people with that on the board, and TT just not respecting the vision control. They don't want to walk too far into the active artillery zone of Team WE, but they also shouldn't have given that one for free. Prince, you need to be careful here.
Oh my days, the damage back is huge. Over comes Chocho, and that leads people out. The Smolder ultimate! Not quite enough to claim the kill onto Prince, down to about 5% HP. Now H1 looking to potentially punish I1D, will not dive any further. Instead, they'll just look for the tier 1 in mid lane, and having pushed Prince back.
Yeah, guys, Prince has not necessarily been happy days for WE. Remember, he was competing with the spot with Stay. They've put a lot of belief into Prince. I have to say, I don't share that belief. He makes a lot of positioning errors like this in crucial moments, even though he's walked away with stuff like the misfortune pentakill he had earlier in the year. There has been some worry moments too. We're walking up towards Wayward, who now maybe feels like he can take a fight despite the early game deficit. He feels a lot happy with the CS lead and the item break points.
Brutalizer back in. Paid elite gold to get a hold of that one. Looking towards that third item. I think it's Cyrilda's likely on the Jace. Yes. Often his third item.
If you're building the Brutalizer, it's either going to be the Profane Hydra or it's going to be the Cyrilda's, and unless you built the Profane Hydra as the first item as Jace, you're never really going to go.
Yeah, that was kind of my understanding, so that all makes some sense. Xendo, 001, got himself towards the breakpoint on Smolder, looking to get towards the rapid fire cannon as well. Yes, it's a good Baron for WE, but I don't know if it's game breaking.
He's off a vision
here. Prince! Great angle! Now he needs to try and run away. Prince does get a decent ult away, throwing some good DPS back, continuing to ult with a Smolder ultimate across the top, brings down the Void Huntress, and Smolder roaring to life. It's double for him, a single for UCal, a teleport back towards the mid lane to continue the chase. As the Molten Fissure from Fofo buys some time, and Chocho breaks WE's hopes. Nothing elite left to be found here. It's just some 4 old veterans as Fofo running away with the Path of Water, trying to get some time out. Hoya over the wall. Not going to go for it as Fofo has to flash to get out.
Oh, another combo. I wonder in trouble now too.
Huge moments there from Chocho, who has been very fearless as it engages.
So suddenly, Baron power play, minus 1,376 gold.
No.
Going to be even more than that now. An inner turret falls with it as well. And a lot of this is, again, positioning errors from Team WE. They over-push too far. Chocho slips off of Vision and TT punish. What this means is that they get to stall. They get through to 3 items on 1xN, who, of course, is at that execute threshold already. I mean, just walking too close to Fog of War. Prince, what are you doing positioning away from your front line like this? Called out that he's had some issues in late game, some big flubs. Fires the W backwards as well, too.
Oh, no.
Awkward moment for him, which, of course, in late game can be a big thing. Resets come through. Viego, one of the big champions to kind of strap up some of these teams which have struggled with Amogus. That's the Viego. Anyway, but the Viego,
very sus jungle.
Despite the fact that he leaves these sus marks with these frickin' Amogus things with the mist on there, it just means that with the reset you can play towards easy win conditions for struggling teams.
I mean, it also makes sense, right? Because he gets to play towards these struggling win conditions, but he can also be the imposter by literally taking over someone's body. He's not who you think they are. See, it all fits together, guys.
Yeah, so, Baron player play has run off. WE lost a lot of gold for it. They do have themselves Soul Point. It'd be Cloud Salt. That'd be nice for them. It definitely helps when you've got someone like Fofo with very little mobility. The Cloud Salt can kind of help you bridge that gap and say you can maybe get away from a Fofo in some big moments. Really feels like, though, TT, with the 3 items on Smolder and a strong front line, are very happy with how this game is now going. And if they win this, again, the stakes of this game are WE are still part of this pack at the 7-win kind of mark, which is very much in danger of being leapfrogged over at the very last moment for LPL playoffs. TT, they are below that, but they have themselves a little bit of that underdog buff. 5 wins, it's not unthinkable to say that they could pick up some shock wins at the end of the split to get themselves into contention.
Especially with Weibo just losing. If WE lose as well, some of those teams they would be competing against, falling short, these last couple hurdles could be exactly what the doctor ordered to get into playoffs, and that's the best kind of medicine for team success, isn't it?
Well, TT, this will be the easiest of their remaining matches. They face Top Esports and then FPX. So they have 2 very strong titles. UCal called out. Chocho goes in.
Oh, another good engagement. Now he's very deep. But Hoya's there as well, and 1xN begins to call out his mother once more, and that particular helicopter parent brings her own arsenal. It's an Apache coming in from the home of the Dragons. They gate 2. Prince gets 1 back, yes, but I think the damage already done. Baseline goes forward, having stolen the Xin Sao's frame. Gets another reset, but is immediately killed before he can claim another body. A triple kill to 1xN regardless, and Prince alive, but he's the only member doing it. Goes to the backside, tries to get something more, cannot get the execute with the Acathian Rain. The only thing left are the tears on his face. It's a bad day for Rain. Lands the W. Get the Seraph's shield, and Prince backs away. Mustang references.
TT, very, very close to closing out this game. Prince can't make the hero play to make up for some of his positioning errors just a little earlier. The TT, they walk away victorious in that bot side play nonetheless. It's going to... Wow, it got to the point where 1xN has said, all right, screw this magic damage, screw this poke Kaiser, Kanik Rukken. He's built in, as his last item says, I've got my damage items now. I just need to go tanky. There's no point me going towards the Bloodthirst, so let's go towards that after that point. 1xN gets good damage across the rest of the team. Chocho, really the hero of this last couple of minutes, though. Not a great combo towards it at the very end, but he's been starting fights and using his ultimate so effectively to allow WE, well, not allow WE room to breathe.
Yeah, Prince there nearly got some magic happening. I will give him some credit there. That was nearly the ult to find 3 people, but didn't quite have the DPS this time around. Still level 15. A level will give him a bit more room to breathe with the ultimate. As you said, 4th item, Kanik Rukken for 1xN. It's going to be harder to manage as well, especially with how much AP damage is coming out.
So, poke comp from Team WE has got items, but they have to go through a front line. Hoya, every time he walks forward like this, you gotta feel pretty scared for Team WE. Chocho, he has his ult, it's rank 2 now. He's got even more frontline potential. 1xN, level 16. He has Kanik Rukken, as we've said. Very hard to take down. Has overshield as well for overheal. Baron started, Dragon potentially started from TT. Objectives on the table. Those big items will change how the way these teams play.
Those will pull away from the Dragon, a little bit afraid of that rapid Baron take. A 3-item Kaiser, 3.5-item Kaiser would delete it. Way not awful either with the amount of abilities he can throw down onto a Baron. So we turn back onto it. WE starting up. Hoya chunked out a little bit before this fight begins, but he is a Cassante, so that's a lot of HP to work with regardless.
Prince and Hung were trying to burn down that Baron a little further. You can see that now UCal with teleport, with so many items, burning down the Dragon himself. So no Cloud Soul for Team WE. Dragon's done. TT, they survived the objective question that was posed to them. It was a threat from WE. You take one of these, we take the other. Instead, they sneak one away and hold firm on the other. Hoya can teleport in if he wants to, and we could regen some HP.
So eyes now on the likes of the Jace, who's picked up their third item, which could prove a bit of a break point.
I really love this item from 1XM. The overheal, and then the mechanic as well means he can actually walk up, trade poke for poke. He has the rapid fire cannon. He has his triple damage combo. He doesn't need to get hit by skill shots, but if he does, it makes it so much harder for Prince to do work.
Really heads up item build, I'm there with you, making it very difficult to manage. I thought last game when we were talking about the previous series, the GAs might be enough to 1XM caught flashing away. That was nearly very dangerous.
Yeah, walks himself into a bad spot, and just as we were saying, we appreciate this tank items. They might have saved his life from his poor positioning. Gets caught by the Eye of Sauron on the floor. Means that TT now give up position on the top side after that chunk goes down. 1XM doesn't have a way to get back into this fight. I wonder if he just needs to stick around and just hope that he can make this work. But with the choke points now taken by Team WE, very dangerous for TT.
H1 has flash and ult available to get in, and Weaver's wall pops the pit into half. Now Iwandi pull back with a seismic shot, but once again buffers it well, and the last displacement always takes precedence. So Iwandi gets to go for a Spider-Man cosplay.
Yeah, manages to get it out in a timing as well before the rocks go down on the floor, so he doesn't take any damage from that one, importantly so. TT, they survived the choke point, big point for them. WE feels like they're really just trying to hold this long-range composition, particularly with its sway, with so much damage as well.
Yeah.
Seeing a really nasty threat once you start walking through. Just that one entrance into river from the red side jungle. If you can walk through mid lane, it's fine. It's a wider spot to walk through. If you're against poke champions and choke point compositions, that's where you want to walk through. That's why mid priority is so strong. But TT, they cannot afford to eat too many of those skill shots.
They cannot, and of course, the fact that you have now got the Jace at 3 items, you can't ignore his poke anymore. Kai'Sa's nearly got Death Cap. You certainly will be able to ignore her poke. We've already talked about Fofo with the 3 items on the way, doing a lot of work, particularly once you start to get towards those lower HP thresholds, and Severing Bolts begin to edge towards those execute thresholds. Quite there yet. Baron's still a consideration, but Thundertalk Gaming still nominally with the better position in the game.
TT 70 CS lead in both jungle and AD carry. Beichuan 2 levels up on Hung. He has himself a Sterix as well, gives him some tenacity, gives him some extra HP. Doesn't have that much magic resist or armor, which means that it's harder for him to actually survive. You know, I mean, the HP is there, but the HP is going to go disappearing at a faster rate than it would do for someone like Hoya. And we've already seen the items on 1XN making a big difference. He's got a Vamp Scepter in inventory now. Between that and the Fleet Footwork, he can use his overheal pretty damn well. Here comes the Weaver's Wall trying to split off the team.
Does keep Fofo on the wrong side of it. They can't land onto anybody important. Wayward is fast enough to run away at this point with a Ghost Blade and a form change to get out to safety. Quick Jace, that's for sure.
Dragon coming up in 2 minutes. TT struggling to find fights. The Eye of Sauron once again lands onto Hoya, and he gets the Q3 back this time.
That's a big damage. Overcomes a small ornament. Wayward forced to flash away, knocked down to the execute threshold. Hung has got himself across the goal, trying to keep himself safe, but needs to be afraid as they begin to get burned down again. Dragonfire melts absolutely everything. They cannot run far enough away, although I say that, and a dredge line might be able to pull them out of the abyss just about. They lose just one,
Smite.
But it's the jungler.
Smite is still gone. HP bars still gone. They might have to pull double teleports at the hopes of a contest. You have the Leandries. Well, not Leandries. They have the just huge DPS from UCal in late game Talia. 1xN on the Smolder as well. No slash with that. With WE, they do try and contest, but they can't win the Smite fight.
Be very afraid. Can they land the poke? They've got 3 poke champions. You could do some work, but it's just gone. Severing Bolt goes wide now. Flash forward from Chocho to get onto Prince, who immediately flashes away in turn. Now Wayward left in a dangerous position, trying to run to safety. Go through the acceleration gate, and he will also change to the Mercury Hammer form, but 1xN flap to try and keep up. There's a Scream face coming forwards, but Edvard Munch might have already written that or drawn that painting.
You've got Moby boost from Chocho. He'll catch up.
On the other side, Fofo in danger, flashes over the Weaver's Wall. Yukol flashes back out, the Spiraling Despair comes on through. And Wayward actually does manage to get back towards his base, and Thundertalk cannot claim more gales.
So, Prince going towards top side, he pushes in a wave there. TT, they're actually is that a teleport? No, it wasn't for a second. I thought it was. Not going to be the case. So, Wave push in from top side from Prince. Dragon up. 30 seconds. TT. They're going to take the gold from taking the Baron itself. And then summon the kill after, just before that as well, to get themselves into a strong position. Bloodthirster now from 1xN. Very powerful moment for him. Feels like between Overshield and then you've got the Bloodthirster and the Koenig Rookham. Lots of ability to just survive through the initial burst. And Prince, he's not been doing so well at that initial entrance to the play. Once again, caught out by Chocho. It was a flash combo. I'm not going to necessarily say that it was on Prince's fault for that one, but he is really struggling to make this late game be felt from this late game Kai'Sa.
3 of the kills and a death cap complete. He will be important. That's sole point now for Thundertalk Gaming. It's not sold, of course. WE claimed many of those Drakes earlier on. The Baron to their name and actually hung on the other side trying to claim what they can from Thundertalk's jungle. Really around to defend. They are full batten down the hatches mode, trying to hold on to their base.
1xN, how many stacks he got? 406. Woo! God damn, that is well over 10 a minute, which we sometimes expect from this champion. 1xN farming up a storm. It's much less of this baby dragon now. Like someone's gonna stream Dracarys, and armies are gonna start falling before him. Chocho, when he gets his teleport, and not teleport, his flash up as well, I really feel like TT look for another big fight. UCal once again hiding in Fog of War to potentially put that wall down. Hoya shuffling in the wave in mid lane. TT, they have themselves a good formation here.
Doing their very best to hold on things where they can. 1xN clears out more of the wave. How much does that Super Scorcher Breath do now? How many little bloblets does it drop down? UCal throwing some poke himself, but they can't quite get towards his turret. There is still enough wave clear from WE.
They really need to have Chocho's flash so we can get immediately into the play, plop his ultimate, and then dodge out and block out on some of those skill shots. It's not available at this point though. TT, they will take the last of this Baron buff, not actually gaining that much gold for it.
No.
And look, it is getting stacks and smaller. It's buying time for your next cooldowns to come up as well in terms of your summoner spells, but when you're against huge poke champions, death cap on Kai'Sa, it feels like you're not just going to snooze your way into a victory. You have great front line to soak up some of that poke, but even this front line is going to feel that sting soon.
Difficult to manage for sure. They're still going to have to find a way to break the base. They got the Baron, but they didn't really get anything with it. Is the problem for Thundertalk. They need to get a fight or something with it, because otherwise WE's ability to stall and buy time is still pretty good. They just get to play from miles and miles and miles away.
Yeah, the thing about poke is that often doubles up as wave clear. And it's one of the big things about a lot of the big poke champions that became a real threat in the past. Stuff like Xerath, well, obviously the big one, Ziggs as well. The wave clear that comes with them, with the artillery factor of it, very, very annoying. Of course, we've got 3 dragons apiece. Next dragon up in 3 minutes. Baron up in 2.5. We have a bit of a breather, which means time to stack, time to push out waves, time to put down vision, time to set up for what could be the last act of this game. I wonder if there's another stalling play left in this. I feel like as long as the wave clear is gone from Team WE, things go very, very poorly after that point, and even just one random kill could be the end of things. If it's a good kill onto UCal, a good kill onto 1xN, hell, even taking out someone from the front line from TT could be very valuable from Team WE to open up access to the back line. On the other side, because you've got Viego, resets. It just feels like one kill could be the end of it. It's about discipline now, about your setup. How do you get the best angle into these fights without giving up an easy kill, which is so quick to go down with the amount of damage in the late game?
Still now looking for UCal to get the last item complete. It's actually got a Phoenix Codex in for even more ability haste, trying to bring those cooldowns as low as they can. Quite sure that Phoenix Codex is going to go towards, actually. Does Phoenix Codex even build towards Zhonya's anymore? I don't think it does, because there's an NLR in there now, so it doesn't go into that. I'm not imagining Lichbane.
Could be something like a Cosmic Drive, I suppose.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, Cosmic Drive's pretty okay for Talia because it allows you to chase down fights well, but I feel like you'd be missing out something like a Crypt Bloom, and particularly off the first kill as well, it can be very, very important. I guess on the other side, there's basically no magic resist. Well, there is on the front line. So yeah, I think Crypt Bloom's still actually a bit of a miss. Oh, it will be going towards Crypt Bloom.
We forget the there's the cooldown.
I thought, because the thing is that normally, if you're buying towards Crypt Bloom, you get towards the Blighting Jewel first. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it is going to be something else. Why would you not build the Blighting Jewel? But let's be honest, it's still probably going to be Crypt Bloom all the same. TT trying to clear out some vision. They do have good vision on the top side of the map. They're prioritizing top side to bot side right now. Hoya, though, very safe to push in on one side of the map. He's the one real tank that can be on the side lane, and as you rightly said, UCal goes back, spends, buys up that Graveyard Flower, Magic Pen, cooldown reduction, the extra kind of healing wave afterwards, very important.
A minute on Soul, 40 seconds on the Baron, both of them very valuable for Thundertalk, although W would happily take a trade if they can get one or the other. It'd be nice to get something back.
1xn 450 stacks. He has himself, of course, full build. He's had that for a little while now, but the stacks just matter an awful lot. Means that the E shots, the Q damage and burn, everything can matter so much from that. You can see they're looking for an angle. Here comes Talia.
One taken very low. Talia on the other side trying to get something. Wayward forced to flash away. Smolder comes flying across. Jojo with the flash available. Hoya forced to flash on the other side. Of the backside they go. Base Rod trying to get the kill. Doesn't happen. He's body blocked from getting a reset. Thunder Talk though still winning the fight largely. Ucal does not get the seismic shot, but they do get a kill onto the Nautilus. The jungler being dead though is a problem, but 1xn eviscerates Hong. It's now the one-man advantage. They want to break the base without the Baron.
Well, Fofo has so much wave clear that it can be quite difficult, but he doesn't hit the entirety of the wave with the Molten Fissure, the QE. They're going to get themselves the inhib tower. They can go back towards the dragon. The base is broken. WE can't stall around an open inhib. WE, though, they might just say, okay, if you go towards the spot side, maybe we can look towards a play.
Trying to get onto him. See Prince with the supercharger looking to try and get forward.
So
Dragon Soul complete.
So there's no smite available for either team. Need to be careful. There's still a Kaiser ultimate. Hoya is not completely safe here. Ooh. Chance of him flying in. The problem is if you jump in towards the Smolder and Smolder doesn't immediately die, you also get wrecked along with it. So Soul for TT. Baron not started. WE, I think it's not bad to look towards a potential objective even without the smite just because you know there's none on either side. This is the threat which TT have when W leave their base. Huge amounts of ability to go forwards. And Beichuan, sadly for him, despite the fact that he's had a huge individual jungle matchup, can't quite get the kill on Wayward for the the invulnerability as you take that soul. And the extra regen beyond that as well. Hung goes down all the same though. Dragon for jungle for jungler. Now with junglers back up. Baron goes down. Double buffs claimed in the last minute for TT.
Cloud Soul now might be what they need to close the distance. It's been quite difficult for them. Ucal throws down a Weaver's Wall, trying to trap W in the awkward position. Remember, Wayward without the flash could still be in a dangerous position. Fofo as well, lacking the summoner. The Q3 comes on 3 straight strikes, and Untofo's out. Double kill for 1xn. That's probably it. They've lost 2. The base is already broken. Smolder ultimate to clear the waves, and WE can stall no longer.
Yeah, I think at this point you don't have the wave clear. The J Shock Blast can just be tanked up by Hoya. You can see that the W's also from Kaiser just not doing enough to the Smolder. This should be it. TT taking game 1.
Got final Nexus turrets to hold on to a last chance. The Alamo is here, but I just don't think WE have what it takes to prevent it. And Thunder Talk, they were stalled. It's 42 minutes, but Smolder is still too much to overcome, and they win game 1.
Team WE couldn't really figure it out in the late game. They didn't have the poke to get through the front line. Poke composition is fantastic if people actually take damage. So hard to get through. Hoya's Kasante, he's been a player which I've personally felt has struggled an awful lot. Chocho on this Alistair as well, though. Fantastic game from him on the front line from what we tuned into. Great play on that side. So game 1 goes the way of TT against Team W, who continue to slide back a little bit in the back half of this split. And of course, we jumped in quite quickly to this series here as well, because of course, Weibo LGD was a bit of a long one. First one, we're gonna rest our voices real quickly. Thank you once again for supporting us, and I'm gonna run some ads quickly on Twitch because they were gonna still pop off mid-game, and gonna quickly regather ourselves.
Yeah, that was something. Well, we managed to. I suppose let's start with the Weibo series because we jumped straight in. So obviously, Weibo dropping, really bad news for them. Great news for a team like Thunder Talk, and theoretically for someone like WE if they can win this.